Hello, Anna. I am so excited to have you here today and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
And let's start this interview strong. Can you share with us one story about you and your partner you absolutely love sharing with others? And what did you learn from this story?
Yes, so it's gonna be a story, maybe inspiring, like inspirational story because since I started dating my husband, we weren't even married yet. We just started dating. Everybody was telling me, like, you will not last long with him because it's two different cultures. It's very hard. And I was like, love is love. Like if we love each other, we will last. So now um I'm in a stage where even my friends are coming to me and asking me, how can I have this beautiful relationship with my man that you have with your husband? And I'm like, you're the same people who didn't actually believe in me um and in our story, but now you see it's working and you want the advice. So that is something that I think is really inspiring and I'm happy about it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, and I'm sure as the questions come, we will still dive deeper into why people were not believing that you won't last. So I'm super
Yeah.
curious. And I wanted to ask, what were the biggest surprises for you having a partner from Ghana? What surprised you most?
Before I met him, I didn't know almost anything about the culture in Africa or Western Africa, in Ghana. I didn't know much about it, maybe nothing even. So everything was such a huge change. We started living together, and I didn't know how to cook his food. I didn't know his language, but yeah, he was speaking English, but still, um, I didn't understand like his point of view. I didn't understand the traditions. I didn't understand the music. Nothing. Like everything was new for me when I first entered African church. Wow, that was such a culture shock. I remember till this day that was such a cultural shock. So everything was so new. So everything was just a small challenge.
Mm. And actually, what was the toughest thing you ever experienced as a couple, and how did you overcome it? So, the amazing women who are listening, maybe they're in similar situations, so they can inspire themselves.
I think we had to learn how to mix our cultures together because my culture is strong, my husband's culture is strong, and I know that sometimes some girls that live here in Czech Republic can tell me, but he's such an African, proud African man, and he doesn't want to change. And I'm like, girl, if you marry him, why should he change? You both need to um, find what works for you, but you cannot be 100% African and he cannot be 100% European. If he wants you to cook his dishes and you want him to be super affectionate and just like any other European guy, then it's very hard for you to actually accomplish that because you have to learn a lot, you have to understand each other a lot, you have to listen to each other a lot. And so I think don't try to change anybody and don't let anybody completely change you. Just find what works for you, what works for both of you, and then go from there. Yeah. So I think the hardest thing was to actually not about how people were uh, racist towards us or anything like that. What was really hard was to keep the relationship strong, but inside, not outside. Inside, like know why I chose him, and he should know why he chose me. And why are we sticking together? What are we trying to accomplish? Trying to understand each other, although it's super hard sometimes, especially on the beginnings, because his culture, his whole life is like different than my life, and you have to respect it, because my life isn't better and his life isn't better. It's just now we mixed and now our life is the best, you know.
Yeah, and I love that you are saying that I didn't marry him so I can change him. I marry him because he's the way he is, and that's what I love about him. So I really love that you are saying it, and I 100% agree that I think, I don't know if women try to do that more. I have that kind of feeling that we as women, we always aspire to change our men, but that's exactly why the relationship won't work, because the men, we cannot change anybody except of us, right?
And I really feel like a lot of women, especially women, all types of women, yeah, want to just change their partner. It's not really what you should expect to do when you're in a relationship, because it's like you rather should focus on understanding the partner, and maybe if you don't trust him, fix. If you don't have trust issues, you know, start with yourself. So, and when you are dating, or when you are married, interracially, it's even harder, because there's not even one thing that he would do the same way as you know. So it's even harder to be more respectful, and to work on yourself, and be like understand that you are not always right, you know.
Hmm. And actually, what I also liked, and what I want to pinpoint, is that you mentioned that it's not like one of you or one of your culture is better. Like he has his culture, you have yours. And I just love that you mention it, that because I think this desire to change our partner as a woman, it often doesn't come from a bad place. It comes more from like trying to do better for him, trying to do better for the relationship. But inside of it, if we dig deeper, there is this belief that me, somehow I am better, that somehow my thinking is better, somehow my culture is better. So that's why I really love that you mention it, that there are two cultures, they are very different, and they are on the same place. There is no
And
one which is better or worse.
sorry, I definitely feel that a lot. What you just said, that some people may think, oh, my culture is better than yours. Like, I even know a girl here in Czech, and she is she's not like my friend. We are not that close. Like, but I know that she told me that her husband is from some part of Africa, you know. And I was asking her, okay, are you going there with him, you know? And she said no, like she wouldn't go there, you know, because like what would she do there, you know? She married him, and like why should she go there, you know? For what
Mm.
reason? And I asked her, like, did he even want to go with you? And she said no, she didn't even want me to go with him, you know. But I'm like, I'm thinking, if you marry somebody, you marry him, you marry his family, you marry his issues, his illnesses, his goals, but also like everything about him. You marry it and you accept it. So me, I cannot imagine being like, I will never go to Ghana, because he has his family there, and that's my family. We are on the phone every day, messaging each other, talking to each other all the time. So, and there are girls that don't know their husbands' families only because they don't live in the same country.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's super important, like to really accept that we are not marrying only the man, but so many more things. And yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because I think often there are some, when I think being in a healthy relationship means that you are able to see and accept even those things you are not so comfortable with, or maybe you feel like you don't like them so much. But I think it's super important to accept it all, and then not try to change it later on. So if it's fine now, like we are in it together, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's of course, like when you are dating interracially, everything gonna be a problem. But if you really want to stay with the person, and if you're not the type of person that would break up over anything, then just take it as challenges, and you will actually really gain a lot of knowledge. It's amazing.
And as we were chatting before I hit the record button, you mentioned with your husband, you met over 2 years ago and you have been married over a year. So I wanted to ask, like, if you compare yourself now and in the beginning of your relationship, what changed and why?
Wow. I feel like everything changed because when we married, I think that's when we really started like seeing our life so seriously. We were always serious. We met each other, we fell in love, and we were like, okay, let's find a flat so we can live in that flat. We started planning since the very first start of our relationship. But as soon as we got married, I think we really started being even um, more about the planning. um my husband always says that now I cook better because now I'm the wife, so now I know and I cook everything better. But I take that as a joke because I think I always cook good. But I definitely think that the mindset is different now. When you are a married person, we are both Christians with my husband, so when you get married, like the mentality kind of like changes as well. And you also are here for the long run. So you cannot just divorce just like that because you fight or because you have a misunderstanding or something. So you really start thinking about what makes your partner husband feel good. If maybe this what you said hurt him, so how can you prevent yourself from saying that again, because you don't want a marriage full of fights. Nobody, a fool would want that. So you really work on yourself. And it is really true that marriage equals hard work.
Mm. And I wish I was kind of listening to this interview when I was married for the first time, and that's why I think it's so important you are mentioning that we are in it for a long run, and that we should really stop. I mean, we are still individuals, but we are also one. And as you said, like thinking, is this what I do or say, does it impact my partner, my husband? How does it impact to him? It's so important. And this is, I think, in the European culture, like in our generation, this is what got lost from the meaning of marriage. Especially you mentioned you are Christian, but most of the people in the Czech Republic are not. And I think marriage is something which it lost this kind of feeling we are in it forever. And
Yeah,
often we approach the marriage as something, in case it doesn't work out, we can divorce. And that was my case when I was married for the first time, because I completely did not understand what does it mean to be married. We never talked about it before. And I only start understanding it with my husband now. And I have completely different mindset when it comes to marriage as compared to my first marriage. So I'm very happy that you mentioned, and I think it's very helpful for the women who are listening and maybe considering to marry somebody to really sit together and discuss what does it mean to be married, and what does it mean also for us. Are we in it for a long run?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially in Czech Republic or Europe, but I think Czech Republic mostly are like, okay, marriage can come and go. What does it mean? It's just a paper, and if it doesn't work, we put the paper away. And like they don't take marriage seriously. They don't work on the marriage, but marriage really, really equals a lot of hard work, you know. So I can see that we are even evolving every day, every day. And yeah, of course, there are gonna be times when you wanna like break up with the partner because, oh God, how can he do this, do that, or how can she be like this, be like that? But when you're married, those are the moments where the small challenges come and you have to learn how to overcome them, because after all, you love the person so deeply that you cannot imagine living without them again. And that's really a good message, because I think many people are just breaking up or divorcing um, over problems that I think can be fixed, either with therapy, pastors, talking, communication, anything. But many times those problems can be fixed.
Mm. Yeah, and I think, as you mentioned, that marriage and I think generally relationship are really hard work. Just learning how to quit the mindset of when we have argument, it doesn't mean it's the end of the relationship. I think I had it definitely, and I believe that many other women are experiencing the same. The moment when we had a bad argument and when we get really worked up with something what our partner is doing, in our head we start creating this story like this is the end, I should pack my bags and go back to my country, and we have this kind of catastrophic thinking. And just learning to tell our brains that if we are arguing, it doesn't mean it's the end of the relationship. This is a really hard work.
Yeah, yeah. I think the most important part in this process is to really understand your emotions and knowing how to actually work with them so they don't pop in the wrong time, you know, because it's good to feel the emotions, like I'm hurt, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, whatever, but it shouldn't be like the emotion gets so bad and so big that it gets over your head, and now it's not you seeing your partner, you are seeing the partner through the eyes of the emotion, you know, with the emotion inside you. So I think it's a very good advice to start working on the emotions, so you can like really calm down even when you are mad, when you are really ready to fight. You can just calm down and view the situation clearly, because sometimes we even are like, oh my God, I really did overreact, and I shouldn't have, and maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should said the other thing, you know, and you start thinking like that. So sometimes it's really good to try to regulate the emotions. Yeah.
And to reflect, as you mentioned, like that often we blow up, some of us start throwing plates, others get quiet, hide in the bedroom. We all have different reactions. But what I believe is super important is actually to calm down and then reflect back, like what was, how could he be feeling, why I was feeling this way, could I react differently in a better way. So I think this is super important, and that's actually what we do with my clients all the time, is to trying to dissect what was going on, reflect, and to see how to do it better next time.
Exactly, and train yourself not to get too into the emotions, like feel them, but that doesn't mean that when you feel them, everybody in the room has to see what is going on, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I love the metaphor like that. The emotions are like the clouds. When there is a big storm, we just see the black clouds. We don't see any sun, any blue piece of the cloud, but the sun is still there. So that's the same. If we have all these negative emotions, the real person is still inside, even if it's not seen. So just to share this metaphor, because I really love it, and I think it really makes us to look at this in a different way.
yeah.
And Anna, because this podcast, it's not only about relationship, it's generally about life, about work, about life abroad, about productivity. I wanted to ask, what is really tough for you right now? in any area of your life?
Right now, for me, it would be my job right now. I don't mean like tough, but it's something that I'm really focused on, and I'm spending a lot of time at work. Plus, I have to be a wife. I do my school, so it's a lot. It's a lot of. I have a lot to do. I have a lot of on my schedule, but maybe if we are talking about love, then I would think what is tough is to sometimes be able, like, allow yourself to feel the pain when somebody comments on you and your partner, because it happens a lot. It happens a lot. On my Instagram, people are messaging me daily. Some people even on the streets, or you get those like stairs and stuff like that. So sometimes I just, because I usually am like, I don't feel it, I don't care if anybody has anything to say, they should say it. But sometimes you feel it, so I think the hardest is to like allow yourself to actually be sad about it, that somebody said something sad to you about you and your partner, maybe.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And why I ask this question is because we all have shitty days. We all have days which really suck when you feel like you want to just lie in the bed, eat chocolate, and watch Netflix. But what is so important is just to get up the next day and keep walking. So thank you for being vulnerable and actually sharing that it's sometimes hard. And I feel you with the stares, with comments, with racism. I know it's really hard.
It is. But like, I think the best way is not to comment on it back, when that happens. I don't really fight back or anything. And as I said, I just rather spend time focusing on me and on my husband. When we relax, we watch a movie, we cuddle, and everything is okay, just like that. So it's really important to also don't let all the stress in the world get to you and under your skin, and really allow yourself to relax and give yourself some free me time.
Yes, exactly. Me time, we all need it. And often we just don't schedule it, we postpone it, but it's super important. And actually, this is a perfect segment to the question I wanted to ask. Like, what is the one thing that really helps you if you feel down on one of these days when you feel like you want to just be in a bed and eat chocolate or whatever? What is the one thing which lifts you up?
My husband, he's the biggest motivational speaker, So whenever he says I'm sad or I'm tired or I'm stressed out for any reason, he comes to me and he starts asking me what is wrong, and let's make you happy, and he really is amazing in that. Like, he's a feeler, he can feel when you don't feel good, so he knows what to do, how to talk to you. He give me a massage, he starts talking to me, and he calm me down. He know how to calm me down, but he also know how to motivate me to achieve more, which I think is so important. So that's something I appreciate. What I do when I feel down and low, I just dance or I sing, or because that's something I enjoy doing, or I cook, those are things that I enjoy doing and I don't really have to think about them. So yeah, that's what I do.
There's some amazing tips, like when we feel down, because why I ask this question is also to get new ideas also for me and for the women who are listening, what we can try when we have stuck a day. So having a person who always lifts us up, who can give us that pep talk and make us feel excited about the next day. Or just cooking, dancing. Dancing is amazing. I was just dancing with my son earlier on to his toy, and you can feel the energy, so it always helps. And thank you for sharing that. And the last question I have for you is, who inspires you and why?
Oh, for me, it's God, because me and my husband, we are Christians. We go to church, so of course it's God. And then it's my husband. He inspires me a lot. He Because what I love about him is that he sets the goals and he really achieves them. Anything that he sets, he is going to achieve it. So uh, that's such a motivation, when you have a person like that. And then who motivates me? I don't know, me. Me. I motivate myself as well, because I think sometimes you have to, like, if you feel bad, and you don't feel bad. When you feel bad, just look in the mirror and talk to yourself, and imagine where you will be in 1 year or 5 years, and how inspiring that would be if you would achieve it and not be sad looking at yourself in the mirror, but actually go and do something. So yeah, I think that is something that you can try as well.
And actually, my cheeks are paining right now because I keep smiling. And I think this was a perfect thing how to end this interview, that we should be the main people who motivate ourselves, because sometimes we don't have the amazing partner, sometimes we don't have the friends or family, and the only person we always have, it's ourselves. And it's so important to find this relationship with ourselves, and as you said, to look in the mirror, smile, make high five or whatever, and just say, look what I have done, what I have achieved, and I can do anything I want in my life. So thank you for sharing that.
It is so important, because if you don't have a partner, or if you even have him, you don't know, nothing, something can happen. You will lose your partner, you will break up, and now you would lose yourself. So always, always know that you will be fine, even if you don't have the partner. Not that I am telling you don't be with him, but just like, make sure that you are strong and that you are okay if you have him or not.
Yeah, thank you, Anna-Marie, for being here with us today. It
Thank you
was
so
super
much.
inspiring. And you share your journey on Instagram, and you have amazing following there. That's how we actually met, because I started reading what you are writing. And where can people find you on
Oh,
Instagram?
you can find me on my Instagram, Anna-Marie Donkor. But I don't know how to pronounce it for you, because you won't be. I think maybe you can write that somewhere,
I
because
will write it in the show notes as well.
yeah, because it's a hard name to write and to pronounce as well.
Yeah, so it will be in the show notes. And thank you again for being here today. It was super exciting to have you.